Hey there, CMA. I'm Cal.
And I'm Delaney.
And welcome to the CMA News Podcast.
So welcome to the first ever edition. In this podcast, we kind of will have a mixture of news, some fun stuff, nothing too serious.
Mostly fun stuff.
Mostly fun stuff. I'm being super specific there. But we do have a bit of news to get through. Our first bit of news is about high school book club's book of the month for October, and that is My Dear Hamilton by Stephanie Dre and Laura Camoy. I actually haven't started this book yet, but a few other members of the book club have, and they're already saying how much they enjoy it. We also have some information about the STEM for January, which is being run by Sydney Azar, and it's potentially going to be about climate change, which is personally a topic I'm deeply interested in. Another bit of news is that we've been hearing mutterings about a potential prom at the next graduation.
What?
In our last homeroom,
man.
Our Peck, Daisy Cheatham, actually told us that they're planning a prom night during graduation.
Wasn't it before graduation?
Was it going to be before graduation?
I believe she said that.
Well, after, before, during, sometime in San Diego, right?
Yeah, in San Diego.
So if you...
Sometime during that weekend, there may be a prom.
So if you have been hoping for a prom at an online school, I guess you may be getting it. Nothing's been completely confirmed yet, but there is some information about it coming out. So this will be a completely new experience for a lot of us, and it should be pretty interesting. Another thing that's happening around CMA is the South Africa gathering trip. It sounds like a very fun trip, and it's got to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I got an interesting fact about Africa. There's this term to describe, Western opinions on, other countries called Disneyfication, used by social science a lot. New social science. Social scientists analyzing Western views of other countries.
What is it called?
Disneyfication.
Disneyfication?
Yes, because people are literally perceiving what Disney shows them as fact.
How interesting. That's a very weird...
I learned that yesterday, so I just wanted to post it somewhere. I may not have been told by Corey to do this, but we are going to be having albums in music club. A lot of artists in the club are writing original pieces, and they're going to be composed into an album that will be on the CMA YouTube channel. So check that out once it comes out.
Or be included and join music club.
Yes, we need more members.
Doesn't matter if you can sing, if you can do acoustics, if you can write music, all of it's needed, and you can collaborate with other creators to make big pieces.
Or if you just like Bongo Cat.
Yeah, Bongo Cat is life. Or join Music Club if you don't make music and just really appreciate good songs.
We always love to discuss that sort of thing. And now it's time for the very special segment of Delaney ranting about books for some time.
But as many of you know, I'm book obsessed, so I wanted to include in this podcast a book recommendation section that's really short and has to do with the month that this podcast comes out. So my book recommendation for October is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. It is a YA fiction novel about a 16-year-old girl who becomes the only witness of a police shooting of her childhood friend. It has themes of activism and is very topical. It was #1 on the New York Times YA bestseller list, and it stayed there for 50 weeks. You may have also heard of it recently because it actually came out as a movie a few days ago and is now out in all theaters. So make sure to read the book or watch the movie. It's been getting great reviews, and the book is amazing.
For our last segment today, we are discussing a question that I posed on the CMA Skype group. If you don't know about that, message me on Skype. I can get you in or ask your pack about it.
It's basically a group where we have everyone, no matter what the homeroom, no matter what clubs you're in, you can join the just general Skype chat. We have 40 members.
We're at 41 now.
41 members. And yeah, it's just a Skype chat for the whole school.
So I asked the question there, what is the weirdest thing about you? And I find this interesting because we're doing a bit of introduction in this. If, of course, I might be a stranger to whoever's listening to this, so we gotta be introductory sometimes.
We're going to have this sort of segment in the future where we just ask a bunch of people in our Skype group for their answers too. We only got one this time, but I'm sure it will be varied every time. And we'll also answer the question ourselves.
Alright, so what is the weirdest thing about you, Delaney?
I'd have to say the weirdest thing about me...
Or one of them.
One of the weirdest things about me is that I can just stare at things for a really long time and not get bored. I can stare at pictures for a really long time and not even really be looking at the picture, but I can just...
So does that mean you blank out?
Not really, but, like, I can think about the picture, too, and stare at it. Or I can stare at, like, my bookshelves, or I can stare at, like, my desktop. I can just stare at things and be content and not get bored very easily.
If you had to stare at a white wall, could you do it?
Yeah, I could do it. I could do that, but I prefer looking at organized things. Like, I like looking at my bookshelves because I feel like they're organized and they're just nice to stare at. Like, I spend a lot of my day just staring at my bookshelf. I just have a really, like, I can easily just get distracted and just blank out staring at something. So, yeah. What's a weird thing about you, Cal?
Alright, so it took a little bit to find one because, I don't know, it's just kind of an odd question to pose on yourself. Because how do you perceive anything you do as odd?
Yeah, you kind of have to really, like, think about it because you're so used to it.
Anyway, what I found odd is that I feel really uncomfortable using my phone in public. Or, like, if I'm in a social setting or, like, in public, I try not to use my phone. Like, even the past time. I just, like, stare off into the distance if I have to wait for something. I don't want to appear rude by looking at my phone.
Yeah, I feel the same way because I have a weird... That is something that sometimes, like, it's not really up to the extent. Like, I always forget my phone, so I never have it on me. But, like, I don't want to seem like a moody teenager, like, withdrawn into my phone. I don't want to, like, help the stereotype.
We also have an answer from Anya Wallace.
Yeah, so Anya Wallace, this is your answer, and we're going to discuss it.
All right, so her weird thing about herself is that she can smell things underwater.
Is that possible?
She said she could smell, like, colognes, perfumes from people.
Oh,
I was thinking, like, it might be a chemical thing.
So, but how does she breathe in underwater? Because you have to actually breathe to smell. Well, she is a competitive swimmer, so she would know more than us about this. That's really interesting. I wonder if, like, I know, like, you can, to some extent, you can smell, like, with your mouth. So I'm wondering if that's kind of it.
We're going to need more of an explanation.
Yeah, Anya, you need to text us more info and we'll discuss it more. We need to know the technique. It's interesting, though, how you
quite interesting talent. I was saying it might be a talent.
It could be a talent.
Just imagine, like, an underwater smelling contest.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So thank you guys for listening. We're going to have a podcast every month where we talk about news.
And guess what? We are going to be doing interviews each podcast from now on. And if you also want to be on the podcast, just ask us and we can probably arrange something.
If you want to be on the podcast, we already have a few guests lined up. So definitely let us know.
All right. See you guys in the next issue.
Bye.